Shipborne meteorological instruments are ruggedized, specialized devices used on vessels to monitor atmospheric conditions, ensuring safe navigation, cargo handling, and weather forecasting. Essential instruments include anemometers, wind, barometers, pressure, thermometers, temperature, and hygrometers, humidity, often housed in Stevenson screens to protect against the harsh marine environment. A barometer is a scientific instrument used to measure atmospheric pressure, also called barometric pressure. The atmosphere is the layers of air wrapped around. Based on a principle developed by Evangelista Torricelli in 1643, the mercurial barometer is an instrument used for measuring the change in atmospheric pressure. It uses a long glass tube, open at one end and closed at the other. Air pressure is measured by observing the height of the column of mercury in the tube. With an accuracy of ±3 hectopascal, it ensures reliable pressure readings for use in ducts, laboratories, and production environments. The device can also measure barometric altitude between 2 points by adjusting for on-site elevation. Handheld meters cover a range of measurements: temperature, humidity, dew point, carbon dioxide, moisture, and oil. Each application can be addressed. Hygrometers measure humidity, essential for controlling moisture in homes, preventing mold, improving comfort, greenhouses, plant growth, warehouses, product preservation, museums, art, and industries like pharmaceuticals, drug stability. They help maintain optimal conditions for health, comfort, and protecting sensitive materials by ensuring humidity stays within safe ranges. The psychrometer is a combination digital hygrometer and digital thermometer used to measure air temperature, relative humidity, dew point temperature, and wet bulb temperature. In a mercury thermometer, a glass tube is filled with mercury and a standard temperature scale is marked on the tube. With changes in temperature, the mercury expands and contracts, and the temperature can be read from the scale. Mercury thermometers can be used to determine body, liquid, and vapor temperature. Alcohol thermometers are commonly used to measure indoor temperatures, but have a limited range due to the boiling point of alcohol. They are safer alternatives to mercury-filled thermometers. A cup anemometer is a device designed to measure wind speed. It consists of 3 or 4 cups mounted on a horizontal rotor, which rotates when exposed to the wind. By counting the rotations over a specific time period, the wind speed can be determined. A vane anemometer is a type of wind meter that is used to measure wind velocity and can be used to calculate volumetric flow. These small, easy-to-use devices are most commonly used in HVAC monitoring airflow equipment, and exhaust monitoring. Ultrasonic wind sensor is a sensor that uses ultrasound to measure wind speed and direction. It uses ultrasonic technology to calculate wind speed and direction by measuring the time difference between the propagation of ultrasonic waves through the air. Ultrasonic wind speed sensors usually consist of multiple ultrasonic transmitters. Wind speed and direction indicators, such as anemometers and wind vanes, are instruments used to measure the velocity and orientation of wind, crucial for meteorology, navigation, and safety. They range from traditional cup and vane sensors to modern ultrasonic devices, providing data in mph, kilometers per hour, knots, or degrees. A barograph is a meteorological instrument that continuously records atmospheric pressure over time, producing a graphical record known as a barogram. It uses an aneroid sensor, vacuum chambers, connected to a pen that traces pressure changes onto a rotating chart, typically over a weekly period. Barographs are essential for monitoring pressure trends to forecast weather, particularly in maritime and aviation settings. A digital barometer is an electronic device that accurately measures atmospheric pressure, often using tiny MEMS, microelectromechanical system sensors, and displays readings on a digital screen, providing features like pressure trends, temperature, humidity, and altitude for applications from smartphones to professional weather stations and labs. It works by converting pressure changes into electrical signals, offering a safer, more precise alternative to traditional mercury barometers for weather forecasting, navigation, and environmental monitoring. Psychrometric chart is a graphical tool used in HVAC to determine the physical and thermal properties of moist air, including dry bulb temperature, humidity ratio, relative humidity, dew point, enthalpy, and specific volume. It maps the relationship between moisture content and heat, allowing for the analysis of processes like heating, cooling, and humidification. Relative humidity can be found by subtracting the temperature on the wet bulb thermometer from the temperature on the dry bulb thermometer and a compass rose or compass star, sometimes called a wind rose or rose of the winds, is a polar diagram displaying the orientation of the cardinal directions and their intermediate points. It is used on compasses, maps, or monuments. With the aid of a marking device, dividers, and parallel rulers, the maneuvering board provides a template for graphical solution of relative motion. Shipborne weather stations are specialized, ruggedized meteorological systems installed on vessels to provide real-time, accurate data for safe navigation, operations, and climate monitoring. These stations, often automated, measure critical parameters like wind speed, direction, pressure, temperature, humidity, and visibility. They ensure safety in harsh marine conditions. Bridge meteorological instruments are specialized sensors installed on ships' navigation bridges or structural bridges, viaducts, to monitor environmental conditions for safety, navigation, and structural integrity. Key instruments include ultrasonic propeller anemometers for wind, Stevenson screens for temperature and humidity, and barometers for pressure.